First, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Over the next few minutes, I plan to show you how we can help improve your healthcare and patient experience using IBM's engagement technology. So let's get started. I plan to highlight 6 key areas of the site that have provided an exceptional experience from a patient's point of view. So there's a lot of patient services available to me, but I noticed the other day that there's something new. There's a Watson Q&A that's really intriguing to me. I've heard a lot about Watson in the news from IBM. And it looks like I can ask healthcare questions of Watson. I could speak the question in or I could type it in. So here's a question: what is HIV? I might want to know more about what it is. I can learn a lot about it. I can ask all sorts of questions in here to get advice from Watson. Very, very powerful. The second key area that I'd like to share with you is under the medical services. I recently had 2 children and I'm looking for a pediatrician. So I'm looking into pediatrics at the digital hospital. I can find a lot about this pediatric group by looking through the different tabs here. Patient stories would be very useful for me. But I'm not quite sure that I'm ready to find a pediatrician yet, but it's something that I'm thinking about. So later when I come back to the site, I notice that I see a little section here saying, are you looking for pediatric services? And by the way, we are the best pediatric services in the region. So I didn't know that. That's really interesting. I think I will keep them in mind. So that content was personalized to me based on where I navigated before. So that's very useful for me as the patient. Under the My Hospital section, I found another really useful time-saving area. There's a pre-registration. So before I go into the doctor or the hospital, I need to fill out a lot of forms, right? Usually you're presented with this when you arrive, but why not do this ahead of time? I can now do all this electronically, fill the forms out online and get it done and submitted. That's a huge time saver for me. Another thing that I found very useful as a patient is all this is mobile accessible to me. I could be on my iPhone and I can access all the same information that we just looked at. I can look at the medical services. I can even go back and fill that form out that we started to look at so that I don't have to do that when I arrive. So that form's available to me under the pre-registration section. And it's all adapted to this device, right? So it's in one column format, really easy for me to use it, and it's fully adapted to whatever device I'm using, whether it be a tablet, an Android, an iPhone, whatnot. So another thing I found on the site is under the visitor section, I have the ability to send flowers, to send chocolates, all sorts of things to patients that are going into the hospital. And recently I had a friend who is now in the hospital because she's going to have a baby. I can now send her flowers, do this really easily. I could add them to the cart. She could add items to her wish list if she's going to be there for an extended period of time. And that's a really, really useful feature. And last but not least, I have the ability to join communities of interest. There's a whole community section on the site where I can look to find a community that's of interest to me. So if I had diabetes, a diabetes care community would be very interesting. This allows me to have conversations, post questions, post blog posts, all sorts of things out here in the community that not only patients are members of, but also doctors. And you can see there's a blog post here. I can look to see who wrote this blog, find out that she's a doctor, she's a diabetes doctor. Okay, now I can look at more articles that she's written. I can look under the forum section and see that somebody has asked a question about insulin calculations. And is there a helpful app to calculate insulin dosage? And I see there's an answer. All of this is extremely useful for me, and I can ask additional questions as well. So to wrap it up, we talked about Watson Q&A. We also talked about personalized content, saving tremendous amount of time, being able to fill forms out online, being able to access everything on this site from a mobile device. The commerce is available on the site as well, being able to get gifts for people that are in the hospital. And the social aspect of it provides a really nice, engaging experience for me as the patient and get that two-way conversation going. To close, we'd welcome the opportunity to meet with you and share more information about the digital hospital. And we'd love to be able to understand more about your initiatives in healthcare to create an exceptional patient and provider experience. Thank you so much for your time today.